news this hour. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. The presidency has reacted to reports making rounds that the president's trip to the United States of America was a total waste of taxpayers' money. Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Gabra Sheo, in a statement on Wednesday, recalled an editorial published in one of the dailies on August the 2nd, putting the president's trip at a cost of 2.2 billion naira as not only false but sad. The spokesman said the present administration is particular about cutting cost of governance and expended a budget not up to 10% of the speculated figure. President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed concern over the enormous debt profile of Nigeria's aviation sector, with the Prime Minister act quickly to redress the situation. The president made this remark while receiving a briefing from the Federal Minister of Aviation on Wednesday in Abuja, noting that safety, security, and international respectability are the watchwords of the sector. In a statement by his special advisor on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, President Buhari pointed out that Nigerian airports are the windows through which the people see the country. Consequently, the president has directed the Minister of Aviation to speed up all processes and projects relating to the safety and security of Nigeria's air transport system. Meanwhile, the president has pledged this administration will take all necessary actions to maintain and improve the National Youth Service Corps, the NYSC, as a functional vehicle for the promotion of national unity and integration. President Buhari gave assurance on Wednesday in Abuja after receiving a briefing from officials of the Federal Ministry of Youth Development led by the Permanent Secretary Rabi Jimeta. The president affirmed his confidence and trust in the program, saying that the objective for which the scheme was established in 1973 was still very relevant for national development. Now, this is to enable lawmakers and members of the public to have online access to operational legislative information, including ordering papers and oversight functions. Now, the Senate President Bukola Saraki has disclosed this at the inauguration of the Committee on Rules and Business, headed by Senator Babajide Omowurare, a member of the Senate Unity Forum. The e-parliamentary technology is to be driven by the Senator Omowurare-led committee. But while Senate President Bukola Saraki has solicited the assistance of the international community for ongoing government efforts to end insurgency in northeast Nigeria and rebuild affected communities, he said that such support would also help bring relief to millions of people internally displaced. The Senate President made the call at separate sessions with the German ambassador to Nigeria, Michael Zena, and his Spanish counterpart, Alfonso Deris, in Abuja.
We can as well envisage that German parliamentarians come to Nigeria, or that Nigerian parliamentarians and senators coming to Germany.
So we are also working on a bilateral agreement on cooperation on security and fighting crimes that includes terrorism, because we think that Boko Haram is a problem not only of Nigeria but of the whole international community. Spain, I don't know if you have, if you know the history of Spain, but we have suffered from terrorism. In 2004, there was a big jihadist terrorist attack in Madrid. More than 200 people died. And we have suffered from terrorism, our national terrorist movement, ETA. We think it's important international cooperation.
And the 8th Senate, our focus is to try and address some of our major issues. The issue of security, which in the Northeast, as I said, on Monday we just came back from Borno State. We went to Maiduguri to visit and have a first-hand assessment. And what we saw there, especially as regards the IDPs, that is, I think that is a big cry out there to see what help and support you can do involves seeing how do we help with rehabilitation and reconstruction of those areas to be able to, at the shortest period of time, build schools, hospitals, homes. All this has been destroyed, and I think it cannot be left to just us alone to rebuild, and whatever support that we can do to help humanitarian and restore people's life, I think will be well appreciated in either long-term funding that we can use to repair the area that has been devastated.
Troops detect IEDs along Borno Link Road. The Nigerian Army says troops have uncovered 5 improvised explosive devices along a link road to Goza Yanteke Road in Borno State. This was contained in a statement signed by the Deputy Director, Army Public Relations, Colonel Tuko Gusau on Wednesday. Gusau revealed that the troops also recovered some bomb-making tools in the Dikwa area of the state. Immediate past Chief of Army Staff Kenneth Manima says Boko Haram activities were initially used as a tool to advance sectional, tribal, religious and political interest in the country. This, he insists, is why the activities of the insurgents did not receive the condemnation it deserves from the local populace at the initial stage. Manima revealed these at the pulling out ceremony organized in his honor by the army authorities in Abuja. Pa Samuel has more in this report.
Manima is the 19th Chief of Army Staff and the 25th head of the Nigerian Army. He has served in the Army for 36 years, during which he rose through the ranks to becoming the Chief of Army Staff. On January 16, 2014, he was named the head of the Army, but Manima said he had challenges even before settling down to work.
You will recall the appointment at the time our Army, and indeed the nation was going through one of the worst crises in our history. The level of violence and insecurity unleashed on innocent citizens by the Boko Haram terrorists had reached unprecedented heights. There was spate of bombings across the country. Attacks on soft targets such as civilians and vulnerable communities were on the increase. The armed forces and security agencies appeared helpless to address the situation. And sadly, the nation began to lose confidence in its army and military.
Despite the situation, the former army chief said he continued working to ensure that the country, especially the Northeast, is secured. He insisted that under his watch, the fighting capacity of Boko Haram was reduced in the last few months. Manima says he is convinced that the army he is leaving behind is combat ready to finally bring down the insurgents.
The threat of terrorism is rapidly expanding across the globe and demands the collective action of all nations. Boko Haram may have its greatest impact in Nigeria, but its ability to hurt other nations' interests, no matter the distance, is real. In the last decade, we have seen the extent to which people who harbor evil against their fellow human beings go to inflict pain and death on innocent people.
Today, life has presented different challenges for the 36 years Manima had spent in the army. But he is using the occasion as a reminder of what he claims to be his last words to officers and men he's leaving behind.
A nation is as strong as its armed forces. And the strength of the armed forces is in the quality of the individual soldier and his fighting spirit. Fighting spirit imbues him with confidence to stand up to the adversary rather than flee like we witnessed in the recent past.
Although Manima is retired, the new Chief of Army Staff, General Buratai, says he will continue to seek for advice from his predecessor to ensure total success in the combat against terrorism. Pa Samuel, CoreTV News, Abuja.
We'll take a break now, and I'll be back with more stories. Don't go away.
Is it crazy or autocracy? Or what type of crazy is that? Except crazy.
News making the headlines.
Black Maria is to carry criminals, trading looters that are in government today.
Sometimes it gets confrontational.
Slap you in the face. Excuse me, don't put words into my mouth.
Whatever it is that will bring our military to disrepute, I say to hell
On
with it.
Core Digest,
I want to know why I should be believing them.
every weekday We bring all of these together and take them to the court of public opinion.
Everybody has a right in Nigeria.
Where you are the judge.
As news breaks, people don't let events pass without giving their comment or reactions.
When the problem arises in society, these are the people that should be consulted.
To cleanse the corruption in society, we are not to provide information for good life and also security of life and property in this country.
The academic society have the loudest voice on this platform.
Whether you call it a sovereign national conference or a national conference, it is about the people of Nigeria.
There should be a change in power.
In any way they can do it.
I think there's a script already.
Every Tuesday at 8:45 p.m. on this station. From the Ivory Tower, a must-watch for the learning minds.
Welcome back. You can get all of our top stories on any of our social media platforms. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/CoreTV News. Our Twitter handle is at CoreTV News NG, and we're streaming live on YouTube. It's youtube.com/CoreTV, little space and news. Inspector General of Police Solomon Arese on Wednesday decorated 2 newly appointed Deputy Inspectors General of Police. The decorated officers are DIG Chintwa Amadio Unjo and DIG Adenichi Jubril. Police spokesman Amado Lojoko said in a statement that IGP Arase is satisfied with the professional conduct of the officers. Arase, however, charged the officers to use their wealth of experience to further improve the police management team for better policing. The petition seeking for the impeachment of Osun State Governor Rauf Aregbesola has been dismissed by the State House of Assembly following the recommendation of a 7-man committee set up to investigate the matter. Now, this is just as the committee recommended that the State Judicial Service Commission should take a disciplinary action against the petitioner, Justice Folahomi Oloyede, a 7th judge in the State High Court. Rashid has more from Osun State.
On the 23rd of June, Osun State House of Assembly received a petition from 7th judge in the State High Court, Justice Folahomi Oloyede, urging the House to investigate the State Governor Rauf Aregbesola and his deputy, Titilayo Yetomori, for financial recklessness. Subsequently, the House constituted a 7-man ad hoc committee chaired by the Deputy Speaker, Akintunde Adegboye. Submitting the report, the chairman of the committee, Adegboye, read that the committee recommended that the petition against Governor Aregbesola be dismissed on the grounds that it was an embodiment of emotions and laden with political undertone, among others.
The petition submitted by Justice Olamide should be dismissed on the following grounds. 1. The petitioner abandoned her claims by refusing to appear personally before the ad hoc committee to substantiate the various allegations leveled against the governor and deputy governor of the state of Osun in her petition. Besides, the representatives of the petitioner do not produce any document to substantiate the allegations during their appearance. So, the petition submitted by Justice Olamide is frivolous, fictitious, and baseless because the various allegations contained therein were based on rumors and hearsay.
The court is not a Father Christmas. So I believe the House of Assembly is not Father Christmas too. Court will not give you anything you didn't pray for. This petition on arrival is dead already because of the technicality that this petition have already suffered in the first place.
The House thus passed a resolution to dismiss the petition through voice notes. Speaker of the House, Najib Salam, points that although the petitioner's action was against judiciary etiquette, the House took it upon itself to investigate her claims in order to honor her right to freedom of expression.
The process and procedure of writing the petition by the petitioner may be wrong. It goes against the etiquette of the judiciary. But in a way, I don't want to gag our own freedom of expression as a citizen of this country. And that is why I'll allow it. And for us to have a lesson from this, there must be a pronouncement from the House, and the member of the public must be aware of the workings of the House of Assembly. It has never happened in the history of this country, apart from being a judge, that an individual from outside will write the House to impeach the governor or the president of this country.
As the committee exonerates Aregbesola, Osun State citizens now await what becomes of the petitioner, Justice Folahomi Oloyede. Rashid, CoreTV News, Oshogbo.
And now to Ekiti State, where two factions of the Trade Union Congress is now battling with the leadership crisis, one led by Kolawole Olaya and another by Odunayo Adesoye. The battle for the soul of the union, as they both have parallel executives. The Ekiti State government has also been fingered as the brain behind the division experienced by the union. Rashid completes the story.
In recent times, activities, especially leadership selection process of labor unions, no doubt leave many questions to be answered. This is playing out in Ekiti State, with leadership crisis tearing the State Trade Union Congress apart. A delegate conference held some days back had produced a new set of executives, but Kolawole Olaya says he remains the authentic chairman through a court judgment from the National Industrial Court.
This NIC decision is written by NIC AK 2012 and 2012 is the basis why I'm here. Everything that took place on Thursday, 30th day of July 2015 is illegal.
But the newly elected executives who emerged at the said delegate conference with Odunayo Adesoye as the chairman denies any court injunction, as Olaya was said to have been impeached earlier.
The election that we just concluded on Thursday, 30th July 2015 was the one that was conducted by the national body of the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria. I don't know anything about that court judgment. Nobody served me a copy of the court judgment. We met, we discussed, we passed a vote of no confidence to Comrade Olaya.
While the Olaya faction claims its tenure will end on October 2016, he accused the state government of supporting the Adewumi faction. This was, however, described as mere cry of a loser.
When this government came, a lot of things, took place. Because everything has been impunity in the state. I can mention a series of things which have been done with impunity.
The unions are there to check the excesses of the government. So I cannot imagine somebody who is coming out to say that the TUC has now become the appendage of government.
There is no end in sight to this crisis, as the warring factions are not ready to settle the rift, even as the state government is being accused of complicity. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado Ekiti.
Kaduna State authorities have commenced the demolition of structures illegally built on government property in some parts of the state. Bulldozers from the State Urban Planning and Development Authority began the exercise in parts of Zaria and Kaduna metropolis. This, according to government officials, is because there is no going back of the decision to demolish houses built on compounds and premises of secondary schools in all parts of the state. It will be recalled that the Special Assistant to Governor and Media Samuel Aruma has moved to clear the air on the government action by saying that it was meant to recover some of government's property. And now to business. The senators invited the Central Bank Governor, Godwin Emefiele, to brief it on the real state of the economy and the current free fall of the naira. This was on the basis of a motion by Senator Nazif Sulaiman from Bauchi North, which received unanimous support in the Senate chamber. Many senators spoke on how bad the naira had depreciated in recent months, with a number of them blaming the situation on poor management of the economy by the previous government.
The declining value of the naira has in recent times been a major issue in the country. And not surprising, the Senate is also wading in. Senator Nazif brought up the matter through a motion on the state of the economy and how the naira is on a free fall. This elicited relations from many senators who wanted something done to stem the trend. A handful of them blamed the situation on the previous administration.
The pressure the naira has, the dollar has. And what brings about the pressure? Number one, in this Senate, I think it was last week, we talked about waivers. When you are talking about waivers, you are talking about pressure on the dollar.
A nation that's based its resources on petroleum industry for the past 40 years has no chemical industries. That's the problem. If you compare your country, Nigeria, to Malaysia, to Venezuela, to Brazil, you can see what Petrobras has done over the years in Brazil. They have a range of products. But here we have a money economy, and that's what we're doing. Nigeria as a nation must define exactly what economy you want to develop.
The entirety of our lives as a country is to wait for the oil companies
to mine this oil. Central bank or this NMPC will sell. Central bank will bring the money and we will share. Now it's gone halfway. You want to sustain your way, the way you used to live, against half and the income you used to get. There will be problems.
The motion received unanimous support and it had no problems calling through. Senate President Bukola Saraki summed up the Senate's position on the decline in the Naira value.
It's clear that the Naira is being subjected to speculators, and as such, the only way you can defend it is for the speculators to know that government policymakers are firm and are consistent in the defense of the Naira. As you can see the way the Naira is appreciating and depreciating. I think the message across here is that here in the Senate, we would give all that we can to government to see how they can defend the Naira.
Aside from summoning the CBN governor to brief it on the situation, the lawmakers also want the executive to step up efforts in diversifying the economy.
The House of Representatives is to investigate allegations of tax evasion against the Stallion Group. The company was said to have failed to pay custom duties to the tune of 17 billion naira under the new National Rice Development Policy. The decision is based on a motion moved by Abdullahi Farouk, who also claimed that the former administration aided the company's cause. Objections that a similar motion had been handed by the 7th House were overruled by Speaker Yakubu Dogara.
Rexoc Farms, Atafi Rice Industry, and Arewa Rice Mill paid their duties to the Nigerian Customs Service. The Stallion Group still refused to pay and even determined to use the additional quotas granted to its subsidiary, Mascot Agro, to further evade payment of new custom duty.
If you have been following events, they have sealed up all these warehouses in line with the recommendation, closed all their offices, and also frozen all their bank accounts, even down to other businesses. I see this motion more like a duplication of the effort that has already been taken. Because what we have done clearly, if you look at the recommendation from the previous House consideration, Stallion Group was there, Popular Food, and all of them, we insisted that all their businesses and everything be sealed. And the customs, in line with the resolution of the House, have taken those actions.
As to whether we can consider this matter because we came to a conclusion on it in the last House, I think it is only appropriate, since we're calling for investigation, to look into the matter again. And if the report affirms that Custom has taken steps to recover these funds and they're indeed recovering it, then fantastic. That reinforces what we did in the last assembly. So I don't think it will be against any principle for us to have a look, to take a look at it.
Outside Nigeria now, a military helicopter has crashed in the south of Afghanistan, killing 17 people, according to Chief of Police in Zabul province. Mewaz Nozaya said the Afghan National Army helicopter crashed in a remote region of the province on Thursday morning, leaving 5 pilots and 12 soldiers dead. Mozai said the cause of the crash was unknown and still under investigation. Residents of the Japanese city of Hiroshima are commemorating the 70th anniversary of the first atomic bomb being dropped by a U.S. aircraft that killed 140,000 people in 1945. A ceremony attended by Prime Minister Shinzo Abe was held at Hiroshima's Memorial Park before thousands of lanterns are released on the city's Motoyasu River. We'll bring you details of that story subsequently. That wraps it on the news this hour. Join us again at the top of the hour for more. I am Nifemi.